Give me a under-the-radar guy going into this season, and we'll do both sides of the ball, offense and defense, one apiece. Give me that guy that we may not know. The average guy might not know.
Hey guys, we're on the map today. This is Bo Williams
and Chad Bullock.
What if I were the one to tell you that the fight's already been won? Well, I think your day's about to get better.
I'm going to give you one that got torched in the championship game. I'll say Maben.
Okay.
He got absolutely destroyed. Yeah, but then again, you had a man-child out there.
6'5"
who nobody would have covered that cat.
Right.
So I'm looking for Maben in the secondary, and I think a guy who might lead the team in rushing might be the freshman Sanders. Even though we have Harris.
Okay.
You look what Saban did for Damian Harris this past year.
Yeah.
He kind of, he knew we had a stud offense. I think he held him back a little bit so he could be fresh. Because it was his senior year, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking you bring in this big freshman, all-world 5-star.
Right.
You let him get most of the carries, and you save Najee Harris because he's going pro next year anyway. He is.
Oh, yeah.
So you save his legs a little bit. So I'm gonna go with Sanders and Maben.
Sanders and Maben. Okay.
I got one that's pretty generic, and one y'all are gonna go, ugh. The linebacking core. That was the worst linebacking core.
Agreed.
That we've had since year one. Saban's been there. With that being said, they were still pretty good.
I'd go back to Shula.
Understand when I say the worst since Saban's been there, that's still better than 90% of the country.
Well, let's say the worst he's recruited.
The worst group of linebackers he's had since he's been there.
Right.
Okay, so I'm looking for better impact play from the linebacker position as a whole.
Sure.
Whenever Bama has that guy in the middle that comes back, their defense is rock solid. Now that worries me because they don't have that this year.
Right.
But I look at it this way: I love the critics. I love it because they sit there and say Bama's done. They got blown out by Clemson. This, that, and the other. I hate to rehash stuff. Go back and look at that game. Bama went from 20 to 20 the entire game.
Yeah.
They got down in the red zone and then for some reason started throwing the ball. A lot of it, I can tell you this again as a former coach, a lot of it's based on look. So they give you a certain look, so we have to throw the ball against this because they have more than we can block.
Right.
I get that. But to get down there time and time again and just continue to shoot ourselves in the foot, and then the fake field goal, that was absolute desperation. But if you just look talent for talent, Clemson was no better. As long as Saban is there, they're going to have players. Nobody need not worry about that.
Yeah.
Kind of in defense of the fake field goal, I heard he did call Kirby Smart on that play. And Kirby
makes sense.
So it'll be all right. It was desperation, but at that point, you had to get a touchdown. You had to go for something.
My only thing is I would rather the ball been in Tua's hands. I get it. Yeah. I absolutely despise fake kicks because if I'm going to go for it, I want the ball in the hands of my best player, going to the best player and the best designed play that I can get him the ball.
Right.
No, that's the way I think, but not everybody thinks that way. And then number two, what I want to see is Tua. This is my second player. This is my offensive player. I want to see Tua play better against really good defenses. Now, in his defense, it was his first year, young kid. I get it. When you're talking about playing the likes of Mississippi State, and by the way, Mississippi State had 4 players off that defense going in the first round, 3 or 4, maybe one was a lineman. I can't remember offhand, but they had at least 3 defensive players going in the first round. I think it was the Sweat kid, a defensive tackle, a corner. There might have even been one more in there. I can't even remember,
and they all went the first round of the affiliate.
Yeah, they all went in first round. So, so when he's playing these defenses, I want to see him on what he's going to do primarily on third down. Yeah. That's my thing. The offense. Look, it's just like beating a dead horse. The offensive line is going to be a top 5 position skill group in the country. The receivers are going to be top 5. The backs are going to be top 5. The tight ends are going to be top 5. So it all comes down to Bama's season for me is this in a nutshell. Can the defense come back to form? And I think there may be some addition by subtraction in there, and you get a group of hungry guys in there, and Saban gets to kind of fuel hey, everybody's already done with you. They've already washed you and thrown you in the trash can. Everybody's done with you.
Right.
They say the Bama thing's over.
Right.
So he can kind of play that card, and you know they're going to be extremely well coached. So, you do that. Tua plays better on third down against those big time defenses. They should be right back in the playoff, or at least in a position to get themselves into the playoff at the end of the season.
I'd like to see the offensive line play better too. Because against those good defenses, we couldn't block them. And most of Tua's problems in the Mississippi State game was because they had an edge rusher come free, or they'd block him, and the linebacker would come free. So, and I was at that game. I was in the end zone watching them.
Yeah.
Which game was that, Chad?
Mississippi State.
Okay.
I mean, he threw his first 2 picks of the year in that game. I mean, he probably should have ate the ball. I mean, let's be honest. But he tried to make something out of nothing because the game was close. I get that, but. Offensive line's got to do a little bit better job.
I remember when Jalen started struggling. It was about the same time of year, and it was about the same time of career.
Yeah.
As and I started thinking, it's the same. Is history repeating itself?
No.
Are we watching this happen to Tua as it happened to Jalen?
Well, I'll tell you this. Scott and I were talking about this off the air, but a totally different subject. One word: film.
Yeah. Once these coordinators get
once those people, and this is what aggravates me about your typical average fan, not us, but your typical fan. People that don't really understand the game of football. I mean, all of those coaches, every single one of them has an undergraduate degree. The vast overwhelming majority of them have master's degrees. Why is that important? Because they're smart. And they understand about how to attack certain offenses or certain schemes or certain players, and that goes for both sides of the football. So after about 5 or 6, 7 weeks of film comes out, guess what? Every weakness you got, those guys, especially those good ones, especially with the defensive front that front seven that a team like Mississippi State had last year. They're going to be able to exploit those things, and they're going to be able to come after you.
They're going to know when you blink. I mean, they're going to understand everything you do, everything you look at. They're watching your eyes, your feet, everything.
They have graduate assistants that do nothing but break down film. When I was coaching at Baker, we went during spring break one year, and this was pretty awesome. This is one of the things I love about coaching. We went and met with some of the defensive coaching staff at South, and we sat down and we were just. I mean, anything we wanted to ask, anything we wanted to talk about, anything we wanted to do. And so he said it was when, I think Jeremy Pruitt was at South. I think when he was the defensive coordinator at South, or he was an assistant something. Anyway, they had a notebook that probably had about 300 to 400 pages of scouting notes, formations. I mean, anything you could possibly think of. And we are literally sitting there reading through Alabama's defensive game plan against when Johnny Manziel was at Texas A&M.
Oh, wow.
It was the first year they played the bobble and then the throw, and everybody was like he's the greatest player ever.
Oh, wow.
And you're sitting there looking through the stuff and you're going, my gosh, the detail, the man hours that they put into this is unreal. You can't believe it until you put your eyes on it.
Yeah, right. That cat, there was no defense in that guy.
No, he but he was is very typical of a Kevin Sumlin offense.
Yeah.
There's those players. You look at him when he was at Houston. You look at because remember when he was at Houston, Big Earn, Holgerson. They were on the same staff together. Holgerson was the OC, and Sumlin was the head coach. And you watch those teams, and when those quarterbacks start moving, that's when they're at their best. It's the same way when he was at A&M, and it's the same way when someone is at Arizona. When you confine those quarterbacks to the pocket and you make them play more conventional, that offense just is not very good, to be honest with you. And it's pretty simplistic, at least in the run game anyway, from what I've seen.
Right.
Which is probably why he's in the Pac-12 and not in a real conference. We'll get into that in a minute. I've been waiting on this so I could just rip the Pac-12. Wait till you hear all the good information I have on the Pac-12.
I was going to ask you about the Pac-12.
Well, come on with it, brother.
Well, no, I mean,
let her rip. Whatever you want. I'm a wealth of knowledge.